Welcome to the 707, a weekly half-hour program produced by KRCB, a service of NorCal Public Media. The 707 features voices and stories from your community, stories that amplify all voices, and stories that show how we are connected to each other. I'm your host, Michelle Marques. At the end of June, various local organizations gathered in Santa Rosa for the inaugural Sonoma County Human Rights Summit and Immigration Consumer Resource Fair.
This summit was really created out of the response of ensuring that if there are families who are being affected by ICE raids, that if the path to immigration and citizenship is an asylum, is the path forward, that we get that information into the hands of the public, and that we are operating the summit in a safe space where we know that if they show up, and they will be safe while they are here.
That's Daniel Sohn, Summit Chair and District 1 Commissioner for the Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights. He explains the commission.
The Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights is one of two funded committees, county boards, commissions by the Board of Supervisors. The Commission on Human Rights exists to advise the Sonoma County Board of Supervisors on matters relating to human rights, the work in human rights, to promote dignity, equality, respect, equity, and justice for all Sonoma County residents. And we do that through education, advocacy, outreach, and community engagement, and events just like the Human Rights Summit. So among that, we also operate the first of its kind human rights violation tool. It is a reporting tool created by the Commission, I want to say 2.5 years ago. It is in its second form. We're calling it Visibility Project 2.0. The Visibility Project is another ad hoc committee created by the Commission itself. And that is the committee that reviews and collects the human rights violations submitted by the public to the county. And we as a Commission review that, address that, and form partnerships to address those concerns. Unfortunately, majority of our human rights violations, at least in this report, have come from within some level of county government, whether that be, or county or city government, whether that be the sheriff's department, the library system, the school system, or even in local police departments. There are a number of reports that are submitted as well that really have nothing to do with human rights per se, but they are significant, they are taken seriously, and those are then forwarded to the appropriate authorities or investigating entity. We've had a number of abuse, domestic violence, child abuse reports that certainly we do not handle, but that we do take seriously. And because of our relationship and our partnership within government, we do forward those accordingly. So I happen to be the chair of the Visibility Project this year as well. So again, making sure that this summit also helped to inform the public that this tool exists is part of what will be talked about at the summit.
The event was held at the Sonoma County Administration Building.
We had the Sonoma County Commission on Status of Women, Sonoma Immigrant Services, Catholic Charities of Northwest California, the North Bay Black Chamber of Commerce, the North Bay LGBT Chamber of Commerce, that's known as Professionals with Pride, the North Bay LGBTQ Community and Visitor Center, which I am proud to serve as their board president. And then we have a panel certainly that is made up of a lot of the leaders of these organizations. Human Rights in Action, building safer, more inclusive communities. I have the privilege of moderating such a distinguished panel, and again, that panel includes Katrina, Phillips, the chair of the Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights, Nancy Rogers, the president and CEO of the North Bay Black Chamber of Commerce, the Honorable Kylan Fowler, Chief Operating Officer and Director of Transgender Services from the North Bay LGBTQ Community and Visitor Center. She is also a commissioner with the Alameda County Commission on the Status of Women. Maven Rainwater serves as the Executive Director of Professionals with Pride LGBT Chamber. Sabrina C.D. Sala, she's the Regional Director for San Francisco for the U.S. Institute of Diplomacy and Human Rights. And Joanne M. Brown, Officer at Large for the Sonoma County Commission on the Status of Women, will also be joining us.
Katrina Phillips is the chair of the Sonoma County Commission on Human Rights and delivered opening remarks.
When I joined this commission, it was 2020. I lived downtown Santa Rosa. The riots always ended at my doorstep. I watched through my windows or from my front porch or the sidewalk. I listened as I could hear bodies being slammed to the ground. And the more that I listened and the more that I watched and the more that I marched and the angrier I became, I realized I had to do something with all this emotion, with all of this anger and love, because I saw no end to it. And a friend of mine said, you know what? You should join the Commission on Human Rights. And so I joined. And the chair at the time was one of my heroes, Chair Demetra Smith. I was like, whoa, I get to work with Demetra Smith. And I got accepted. I was elated, got to my first commission meeting, and she quit. I was like, whoa, what now? And from that moment, I realized this work is hard. People often ask me, oh, you're on the Human Rights Commission? What's that about? I'm like, are you that privileged that you don't understand that there are so many aspects of our lives that we have to continue to fight for? That's ridiculous. The minorities in this county, if we all came together, we're the majority. Be the majority. Fight for each other. We are the only hope we have.
Commissioner Sohn describes the keynote speaker for the event.
Dr. Mohamed. Dr. Nas is the epitome of what human rights is all about. He is the first documented openly LGBT Qatari-American. Actually received a political asylum designation a few years ago. Speaker Pelosi at the time was instrumental in expediting and getting that approved. Since he has arrived in the United States, he has been an active and engaged citizen and a leader in the medical world in regard to HIV and AIDS and PrEP and PEP, and making sure that access to medication for all of our communities without discrimination is important. He is based in San Francisco, but he is joining us at the summit as our keynote speaker, and he will be sharing his journey seeking asylum, his coming out story as a Qatari-American, being threatened and targeted and tracked even in America by Qatari officials who do not believe that being LGBT is not only a human right, but that it's against the law, and punishment is murder, is death in Qatar for that.
Here's Dr. Mohamed speaking at the summit.
Right now we're watching Qatar Airways over all the stadiums with the world watching the World Cup. Who is Qatar? Where are they? Are you seeing the people? I am Qatar. Me. I was honored by the royal family. I was brought in for a private dinner for academic excellence. I am the one that memorized the Quran before I was 15. I was the one leading the prayers in Qatar. I was the one celebrated by the country, and I am the one that they would not speak of, ever. They would not mention me by name. It's me. And that's what I told the world in the stadium in the World Cup, wearing my bisht. This is something that was put on my shoulders to celebrate me graduating from high school. A garment I left when I took asylum. And a garment that the Emir and ruler of Qatar put on the shoulders of Messi from Argentina when he won the World Cup to celebrate him and elevate their reputation. When I am a refugee from the wealthiest nation in the world, and not the only Qatari refugee. I helped the others flee, not just to the United States. There are refugees from the wealthiest nation in the world. So I went back and I typed the words love and freedom on my Arabian dish. And I woved the rainbow on its trims. And I walked in with our senator, Scott Wiener, because I am the one fan that needs protection to sit on the stands. And thousands were reacting to my presence. Thousands. The security had to come down twice to alert us that the masses are reacting to me being in the stadium. One photo by Tariq Aziz from Saudi Arabia, from the stadium, got 12 million hits in the Middle East. And then I told them, you're fighting a rainbow. So much, because a symbol reached you before a human story. So for you in the Middle East, when you see a rainbow, it's me. I'm Nas from Qatar.
In the next segment of the 707, we'll hear from other nonprofit organizations at the inaugural Sonoma County Human Rights Summit. This is KRCB.
I'm Corva Coleman from NPR News with a little something to kickstart your mornings. Sonoma First News is a weekday morning podcast with the top local stories and weather updates from across Sonoma County. From Petaluma to Bodega Bay, Sonoma First News has you covered. Subscribe now through KRCB's website, on the NorCal mobile app, or wherever you get your podcasts. Sonoma First News from Sonoma County's NPR station, KRCB FM.
Welcome back to the 707 on KRCB. I'm your host, Michelle Marques. Today we're exploring the Sonoma County Human Rights Summit and Immigration Consumer Resource Fair held in Santa Rosa in June. Each of the organizations made a short presentation about the services they provide, starting with Joanne M. Brown from the Commission on the Status of Women.
The last couple of years particularly have done really well in putting together, it's a panel to hear the voices of women, the affected people. Not that women don't affect everybody else, because we are the majority on various topics. And we started out with unhoused women, and that was such a poignant story and panel. We then moved on to the impact of ICE enforcement on women and families in the county, and it was not exactly a soccer game attendance, but we had so many people attending that, and it was such a poignant, powerful hearing, all of which was encapsulated in what we call white papers. So those two white papers, that we did a white paper on the mental and emotional stress that young people are now suffering in this age in our county. We are going to move ahead to our next hearing, which is going to be on trafficking and sexual trafficking, and then we're going to do one in November, I think I'm in November now, on the issues facing women and the justice system, which I'm going to lead. So we're trying to, as a commission, be your voice, or add a voice to the voices that you have.
Founded in 2019, Sonoma Immigrant Services is a U.S. Department of Justice accredited nonprofit organization dedicated to providing low-cost immigration, legal services, community advocacy, and citizenship education to immigrant families throughout Sonoma Valley. Representing Sonoma Immigrant Services today is our friend Alondra Marroquin, co-founder and DOJ accredited representative.
We are a nonprofit organization located in Sonoma Valley. And our mission is to strengthen the community through education and advocacy, including immigration legal services. We offer assistance and legal representation in various immigration matters, including affirmative cases, family-based, humanitarian visas, and much more. We also offer citizenship classes and study partners, mock interviews to assist people through the naturalization process. Our upcoming classes begin August 26th, and we are really encouraging everyone who is eligible to apply for citizenship, especially because there is a high probability that the government filing fee for naturalization will increase soon.
Immigrant rights were also addressed by Marielle Schultz Montford of Catholic Charities.
We have an immigration department where we have accredited representatives by the Department of Justice who provide immigration services such as family-based petitions, naturalization, visas. We also provide citizenship classes in English and Spanish. We have satellite offices in Petaluma and in Paya. We also offer immigration fairs throughout the year in different counties. We try to reach as many people of our community as we can, especially the ones who don't have access to immigration services.
Sabrina Sidisala is the Regional Director for San Francisco U.S. Institute of Diplomacy and Human Rights.
The U.S. Institute of Diplomacy and Human Rights is a global nonprofit organization dedicated to educating people about their basic human rights. As outlined in the 1948 Universal Declaration of Human Rights, we also provide training in public diplomacy. Today, our program has reached more than 30,000 individuals worldwide. Our mission is simple, yet powerful: to empower people with the knowledge, skills, and tools needed to defend human rights. We also proudly support underserved children by providing access to educational resources and opportunities that help them realize their full potential and build brighter futures.
Nancy Rogers is the President and CEO of North Bay Black Chamber of Commerce.
Through the chambers, we provide business training, networking, advocacy, access to resources. Through Entrepreneur of Tomorrow, we invest in youth. Entrepreneurship and scholarship, economic empowerment of people become self-sufficient and create pathway to generational wealth. We just had our Juneteenth, our 56th annual Juneteenth. We were able to give out $8,000 in scholarships, not through the grants, because you know with DEI, a lot of the grants are cut. So we have to create different ways. We have to learn how to pivot. And we pivot to a weekly bingo. And that weekly bingo is bringing us enough money to do our programs. And so that's why I'm saying is that if you put your mind to it, they can't stop you from doing anything you want to do.
Maybin Rainwater is the Executive Director of Professionals with Pride LGBT Chamber of Commerce.
I want to ask the question, why is the Chamber of Commerce at an event surrounding human rights? And I think picking up on Dr. Mohamed's message today, and Nancy's as well, the critical thing we need to understand is it's about you. This is your money. It's about you knowing who you're spending your money with, who you're entrusting your hard-earned money with. So our role as the LGBTQ plus chamber, in association with other chambers, is to continue the communications between ourselves and the people we go and do business with. And if they're not willing to do business on our terms, we should not be doing business with them.
Kylan Fowler is from the North Bay LGBT Community and Visitor Center.
We want to provide and enhance our businesses here in Sonoma County to just bring a better version. It's always an opportunity to be a better version of yourselves. And that's what the North Bay LGBT Community Center and Visitor Center wants to enhance. And we want to make this just one of the most fabulous things. This is much needed. Our community needs to be recognized, our community needs to be enhanced, and there needs to be representation of every kind. What my father used to say, whether you man, woman, chicken, or child, there needs to be a representation.
Anna Estrada is from the Immigration Institute of the Bay Area.
At IIBA, we're so lucky to be able to support immigrant families, refugees, and asylum seekers through the complex legal systems that are oppressing our community. We are also so fortunate to have a habeas team ready to fight for individuals who are unlawfully detained in Sonoma County. If you know anybody who needs representation, who maybe needs to have a refresher on their rights, whether in the workplace, in the community, or in court, we are the organization that you can depend on.
And finally, the Bienestar Collective was represented by Aaron Sunshine.
In particular, what Bienestar Collective is doing right now is helping Promotoras de Salud, who are Latino, Hispanic community health workers, build their own cooperatively owned businesses. And together with funding from Linda Hopkins, we, and the request of Linda Hopkins and the idea from her, built Recursos de Bienestar, which is a Spanish language resource site that just simply lists all the organizations that we could find. If you're not on there, please let us know, who provide services in Spanish. Then we partnered with 211, so that resource is now part of 211. And so people who call 211 can be directed toward resource providers who are verified by promotoras to be speaking in Spanish and providing services in Spanish.
Links to the organizations in today's show are online at krcb.org/the707. I'm your host and producer of this program, Michelle Marques. This show is a service of NorCal Public Media. Our president and CEO is Darren Lachelle.